I would love if we could create some kind of a movement where, for years it was reduce, reuse, recycle. The R that's missing in that is refuse, like refuse to use things that you're only using once.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Girls Gone Gritty, and welcome back to my G's
house.
Girls,
We are.
how insane was your trip? I wish you put me in your back pocket because I love Australia and Bali and everything you did. I really missed you guys.
Oh, we missed you.
The experience was amazing, and the hard reality is coming back to reality. The 12-hour time is easy when I'm trying to call Mac. It's like I wake up at 6 a.m. Okay, it's 6 o'clock at night there. I can call her, but wowza, I'm hungry at different times. I'm sleeping like a weirdo.
Yeah, you're definitely jet lagged when you get back. Felt like I was in like a fog and like hazy and like floating for the first few days. And even still, like I almost got hit by a car twice.
We
really got to be careful. It's like being drunk.
We like Australia better than Bali.
Yeah.
My kids like Bali, like my girls, because there's a scene and they can rip it and surf and there's cuties everywhere because it's inexpensive. But the trash is insane and it's overcrowded. And the moped thing is like whacked. I mean, these moped drivers can put 3 kids, like my 3 kids, on the back of them driving home from a club at night.
Yeah.
There's no rules in Bali, that's for sure.
No, but it's so much fun. And when I was there, it was just,
I was there 25 years ago and it was, the landscape of Bali is what is magical. They are blessed with incredible cliffs and water, and it's a beautiful island.
Right.
But everybody has figured it out, and you can cash in your chips here and go there and have double what you're worth in the US and live large. So,
and now with the transit, obviously it's a quick hop from 2 major places, both in which we were at, which is Western Australia and Singapore. And I hit the convergence of the 2 breaks. So it was even more bonkers for me. So that's another thing that I need to dial into, trying to figure out if it's peak season for somebody else while you're there.
When I went to Indo, I was there with 7 girls. I might have mentioned it before in a show. We went there to surf and we get on boats and we go on these boat trips, and you go on a boat trip and you go a long ways away and you end up at this break and you're like, yes, we have it to ourselves. And then a boat full of 10 other surfers jump in. You're like, wait a minute. I'm halfway around the world. And I heard right now that Bali is so ridiculous. Like, forget about it.
Hundreds of people were out in that lineup. Hundreds of people were at Dreamland. Hundreds of people were at Padang on big days.
Yeah.
That were surfable.
Everything's an Instagram moment. That's why. Nothing's off the radar anymore.
And everybody surfs now. Because hey, everybody could get a surfboard and you can take it to Bali. Even in Oz, where you guys were, Margaret River, it probably wasn't as crowded as Bali because that's the other coast of Australia.
You also have to walk 1.5 to 2 miles to get to some of the breaks, which keeps like the non-surfers away.
Committed.
Yeah, it's not for the weak and wary.
No, when I went to Australia and I ended up at the Melbourne Cup and then I ended up at all these cool other spots, I never went to Margaret River. I knew it was super sharky and was way far away. But when you talk about third world countries and the pollution, they have a major problem, and it's something we're going to tackle today. And it's because they don't have the recycling that we have. They don't have the mentality, and that's what it all comes down to: the education of, hey, you got to recycle in the proper ways to do it. Everything's in plastic. But before we get to our little topic for the day, what do we have, Jen, for our top 3?
Top 3. Epstein, go away. Please, enough of Epstein today. Can everybody just hit mute on that storyline, please? Ourselves included.
I'm so sick of it. And it was, hey, yes, now Epstein's list came out. Really? I mean, who's making the list? Is there proof that he's actually dead? I didn't see a body. I'm so done with it.
Yeah, I can't stand her. She's acting like she wasn't an accomplice.
Come on.
Just enough's enough.
You don't think she's going to get off?
Never going to know what the story is because it's been swirling around.
And too many powerful people are involved. Epstein shook hands and sat next to a lot of powerful people, unfortunately. And,
but
we'll never know the truth.
Stop talking about it unless you're going to do something. And what are you going to do to those powerful people? Nothing's going to happen to them. So just drop it. Move on. Better be looking behind her shoulder because she's not going to last very long. Someone's going to off her. I'm sorry. but
she'll
you
go
can't.
in witness protection. She'll go live on some fabulous island and she'll be taken care of somewhere.
She'll be with Jeffrey because that could have been what happened to him too.
Yay. Oh, it's the land of the lost.
Land of the Lost. Speaking of Land of the Lost, we're going to go to Mars first. Mars, number 2, is closer than we think and bigger, with the largest piece of Mars ever on Earth went for auction for 5.3. But a bigger fetching was the T-Rex resemblance of a juvenile that fetched $26 million at auction. So we're back on Earth here, people.
It would be very cool to actually see that.
That's
A
just
T-Rex, but that's
FU money. Right
that
there.
is that's a really expensive rock and fossil. That's kind of ridiculous that people spend this amount of money. But if it was being put into a museum, and a lot of people could see, but what are you going to do? Put the piece of rock on your mantle? Speaking of wait, you have a piece of the moon.
I need to go find that. It came in a Rockwell International box when my dad worked at NASA, putting Apollo 1 through 11 on the moon. That a lot of people don't believe happened. So I do have a piece of rock and I need to find it because it's valuable.
Obviously, it could be really
I
valuable.
Put it on the market and see like what it
And make sure nobody throws it away, not knowing what it is. Who
True.
put this a piece of rock in here? So take care of your valuables. Speaking of valuables, many people value number 1. It's their ice cream during summer. Are you enjoying your ice cream? Well, maybe you should wait until 2028, as the ice cream makers have pledged, finally, to move away from these artificial and synthetic dyes.
How hard is it to make ice cream out of sugar and eggs and milk and whatever, if it's strawberry, if it's chocolate? I don't understand why we ever strayed from that model anyways.
Well, when you look at the ingredients, which we spoke about in another episode, I don't know which one it was, we talked about when you make something in the US, there's 100 ingredients as opposed to the ingredients in the UK, in any other country. We're the only ones that
it's not like the shelf life is needed for ice cream. It stays frozen.
Well,
it maybe the addictive qualities,
I'm sure
there were
preservative
40 makers of the ice cream, like 40 makers that are taking these numbers, are taking the dyes out. The colors are red dye number 3, red 40, green 3, blue 1, blue 2, yellow 5, yellow 6. Really? What is that doing to our bodies? It's got to be slowly killing us. I think it gives kids anxiety. Everything.
My thing is, what's the point, right? I mean, ice cream tastes delicious, and it doesn't need to be.
My favorite thing as a kid was like having a slumber party, putting all the ingredients in a bag, rolling it back and forth to each other. You could put it in something with rock salt, ice, whatever. We would make our own ice cream, and it was like something we looked forward to, and it's simple and everybody can do it. So we need to bring that back, because that to me incorporate a little quality time with whoever.
Yeah.
You know what you're putting in your body, and it shows everybody how simple it is to make ice cream.
Yeah. And again, remember, take a look and a peek at the side of everything you eat. Take a look and make sure you can read the ingredients. I do it all the time with things that I buy, especially
any of it.
No, I was looking and I said, oh, you know what? I can't really even try to repeat whatever that is. So I'm just not going to talk about it.
Totally.
I don't know. And what are the ice cream? What containers are the ice cream in?
Well,
in plastics. And that takes us to our episode today about plastic pollution, which right now is the highest environmentalist challenge today. Certain types of plastics are so harmful to our ecosystem, to the wildlife, to the marine life, and they're beyond toxic to human health. So today on Girls Gone Gritty, we're going to talk about plastics and how harmful they are to us and everything else around the world.
So ingesting them, we're putting them on our body, we're breathing them. The microplastic thing is something that none of us are thinking about. It's becoming a conversation, but when you think about how microplastics are everywhere, we're the reason.
Of course.
Well, you think about everyone drinks water out of a water bottle, and the water bottles are plastic. And when you think about the water bottle lifespan, they're made in the factory, then they're put into a truck. Well, trucks get really hot. So that water gets hot, and then it gets put into the 7-Eleven or wherever. When it gets cold, then they take it out and it's hot in your car. With that, there's 240,000 plastic fragments with 90% of them being nanoplastics in one bottle of water. So when you think, oh, I'm going to go get myself a gallon jug of water, which I always did, you're poisoning your body. And those nanoplastics are causing so much harm to your organs and your health. And it's something that you don't think about. I just got the best sandwich at this market in Bayhead, but the really crappy bottle of water, the small one, was $4.25. And I looked at it.
That's criminal.
And I said, I'm so thirsty. Do I want to spend $4.25 on a little bottle of Poland Springs? And it wasn't even cold. And I said, you know what? I got it. And then I started thinking about the episode we're doing today. And it was half of it was in the car. I went, oh my God, I know better.
But it's also become ubiquitous. It's become part of people not even thinking about what they're doing because everything's just been replaced by it. So your Heinz ketchup that was always in a glass bottle is a really pain in the butt to get the ketchup out, and you had to hit it right on the 57.
Yep.
Right.
That has been switched out with a really easy squeeze. They've made it really convenient for us to consume all this plastic. And it's at a point where to try and find something, if you go through your grocery store. So for those of us that are trying to be mindful, and if you can think about the next time you're at your grocery store out, go through and try and find something that you regularly buy in glass or in something non-plastic. It's almost virtually impossible unless you're shopping in your produce aisle or your dairy aisle. Like everything else, your meats, your produce, your seafood, everything else is coming in plastic. And forget about the inside. Unless it's canned, it's in plastic. I think a good exercise for all of us to do is trying to be more aware as to our consumption on the plastics.
And a little tip on that is a single use consumption of plastics. You know, buy a 6-pack of something that has 6 little plastic containers, whether it's your yogurt, whether it's your water, whatever it is. If you are going to be sucked into using plastic, buy a bigger jug and try going with a bigger container of yogurt and start by making small adjustments in your life, because every little adjustment becomes a big adjustment if we all were to be on the same bandwagon.
Well, and single-use plastics, that's straws, cups. You have a party and get all the plastic plates, even the plastic tablecloth. It's all part of it. And certain things, they never break down. The forks, spoons, and the knives, the plastic ones, they never break down. And that's the scary part. You're like, wait a minute, what do you mean they don't break down?
The movie Wall-E.
Yes.
I mean,
we're headed there.
And I had a conversation with somebody recently that was saying, oh, we'll just take all of our trash and we'll send it into outer space and just let it be there. That's like a solution. I don't think so.
No.
But that's a terrifying solution. And whoever even is talking that way should be shot.
Well, I mean, we'll have to leave too then, because I mean, if you're referencing Wall-E, by the time we get to that point, it'll be cheaper for the humans to leave than it will be for all the trash to leave, because there's more trash than humans right now in mass tonnage. So, and in addition to that, the plastics are killing every other species on the planet, in addition to what else the humans are doing. But I digress. We've also been told is like, we need to recycle, and really truly in all of the research that you do, that's really a misnomer. And that's been pushed upon us by the plastics and the large beverage conglomerates that, oh, if you just recycle as a consumer, we can mitigate this problem. Well, recycling doesn't work. And that was very evident when China stopped taking our recycling back in, right before COVID, and there's nowhere for the plastics to go. So someone will take some of these plastic recycling and then just dump them in the ocean. And then they end up in these underdeveloped countries that don't have an infrastructure like Indonesia, like India. And then everybody else has to deal with them.
Right.
So, I think that the awareness piece is really smart. And then the second piece is to try and get to a point where you refuse to use them at all. Like for people that come to my house, they know, like I even had a party one time where I said, BYOC, bring your own cup.
I had no idea what that was, by the way. I was like, what is BYOC?
I'm like, I'm not providing plastic cups if you don't have a cup.
We also bought those aluminum ones that look like a red Solo cup, but they're aluminum and they're reusable. And it really does begin in a small way. Like Jen put a rampage out to get plastic bags eliminated. Right. And I say all the time when I forget one of my bags, I curse her, but I don't curse her. But, it's small pockets of communities that decide that they're going to make a difference. And we just were in Perth, Australia, and Perth obviously decided that they wanted to make a difference. People are very healthy there. Everybody is active, running. There's no trash on the ground. It's like an immaculate little city. And One of the things that we discussed in this past episode was every restaurant you get water that's in a glass container and you can refill it as many times as you want. Are the hotels that we stayed in, the water that we got for the room each came with a glass bottle of water per person. It's just little things like opting to not have a plastic shopping bag when you go to the grocery store. I got a water tank in my kitchen. We use that as our primary source of water. Everybody has a container that
it's in plastic though.
Well, it's gigantor.
No, but so
But
they're
reusable,
saying,
and it's
yeah,
it's not a single use.
right. So
It's not a single
what
use.
they're saying is that the average person uses 365 plastic bags a year, and it takes 1,000 years for a plastic bag to degrade, to break down. So when you think about the plastic bags, when I was living in California, we go to Mexico all the time and we call it, oh my God, there's the plastic farm, because you would go and you drive down the road to the surf break and you look out and there were thousands of plastic bags stuck in the sidewalks, stuck on the roads, everywhere you went. And I'm like, oh, it's the plastic farms. And it's scary because the mammals, the sea turtles, all the sea life, they're mistaking plastic bags, all plastics for food. So now they're dying and they're also getting caught up in these poor mammals and the wildlife. And you're like, wait a minute, it has to stop somewhere, because only 10% of the plastics actually get recycled. That's the thing with all this recycling that you do. And it's, oh, you have to separate and you have to compost. Only 10% of it really gets recycled.
There's no end market for anybody to want you recycle plastic. Everybody wants the fresh new plastic that actually is cheaper. It's kind of the same ideology of like something breaks in your house, it's cheaper to replace it nowadays than it is to repair it. If you have a large appliance, if you have lots of things, it's cheaper to just make it new. And that's part of our problem, where we don't have a full life cycle of things where there's a renewal like the earth does. We are like, oh, we'll just throw it away. We always say, where is away?
We have to develop
more.
Where's
we
the
have
way?
to develop more sustainable opportunities. Look at Faraday. Just an example. Faraday came out of left field. It's a clothing line. It's a lifestyle brand that's in our backyard. And their key selling point when they came out of the gates was that they make fabric out of plastic. If we have other sustainable options that we can look at, and you can feel good about recycling, reusing, repurposing,
right?
That's a direction that we need to go in.
And Faraday used it for their swim line. So they came in when they first started and they said, hey, let's mix it with cottons. And it all became their swim line, which they've been really marketing well. Patagonia does the same thing. So there's all these companies that are kind of
doing something for the good of mankind. I'm in.
And they take the recycled plastics and they mix it with different textiles to come up with these products. And they're on the forefront. Some of these designers, variety of their products are amazing. You feel it and you touch it, and the fabrics, it's nice. It doesn't feel chintzy. So the Faraday shops, they're all over the country, and you have to start supporting companies that are actually taking the time to make a difference.
And there's a lot of innovative companies that are trying to do that. I mean, we should be supporting these biotech companies that are really trying to engineer all these algae based and these all these different organisms that are supposedly going into our environment and eating up the plastic. I'm a little skeptical. I'm excited about it, but we also have to be careful when we introduce new things to our environment, because we've done that a lot of times to figure out species. There's a boom of species and we'll send some other predator in to help. And then we can't deal with the predator. So we got to be careful. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of new engineering that's going to happen that's going to help mitigate. But I think the bigger issue is, and I think this is the part that I would love if we could create some kind of a movement where, you know, for years it was reduce, reuse, recycle. The R that's missing in that is refuse, like refuse to use things that you're only using once. You know, if you're hosting a party this summer, don't have plastic knives and forks. Figure out a better way. Don't serve things that need forks and knives. Serve hamburgers and hot dogs. Serve things that don't require this plastic amass.
There are so many different options. You see bamboo, you know,
I love the bamboo
and they're
plates.
looking. They look natural. The bamboo plates. It is a much more efficient way to go.
And then now the new thing are the Stanleys, which I take Dee Dee's her Olivia Rodrigo Stanley all the time because it's big. And everybody has a Stanley. So on our beach right now, they're not letting us bring any cups to the beach. But you have to, thing is, you have to go get the cleaners. Because if you don't clean inside of the plastic straw, stuff grows in there and it
quick tip. All you have to do is put that in boiling in water And you take all your plastics that are reusable and you throw them in a pot of boiling water, and all you have to do is boil it and it'll kill everything.
So here's my question. So when we have the Stanleys, and I always wonder, because you have the water bottle and you dump the water out and then you kind of rinse it around. Do you have to scrub it every time, or can you just put hot water? And I know water that's sitting is just a disgusting hazard, but if it's sitting in a cup.
But it's your water. It's not stagnant water that's been sitting and like collecting bacteria. It's your water cup that's sat for maybe,
overnight or something.
No, I personally think that we're all too damn clean. We're always worried about washing everything out.
Yeah, my kids are not. My kids are athletes and they all have like their water bottles. And do you think that they're boiling water and putting their components in when I'm not with them?
No.
I ended up got all the accoutrements to try to clean it, but the black mold that's stuck in crevasses is hard to get out. And
try the boiling.
And I can't actually boil my water dispenser.
Can you put it in the dishwasher though?
No, this is the problem. My water dispenser, my giant water dispenser up there, when you take the top gallon off, there's a little pokey thing that you stick it on. That, if you look inside of it, collects dark mold.
Can't you just take a boiling water and pour it in?
There has to be a filter cleaner.
It's a very hard process. I just did it, and it's something that people aren't aware of. So I'm putting it on everybody's radar, but I can't pick it up and I can't stick it in a big tub of boiling water. It's a very hard thing to clean, but you have to recognize that your well, it's touching your fresh water. It's going into the well that dispenses it.
Sure.
And I was horrified the first time that I saw it and was like, oh my God.
Because that's what happens
It needs to be addressed.
That's the filtration systems, like in your refrigerators.
We'll MacGyver it with a hot tea kettle.
Yeah. So, but like the refrigerator, we have water filters in our refrigerators here and then in Vermont. And one day I went to actually follow the line to figure out, I was fixing something in the refrigerator. I'm like, oh my God, the black that was growing inside the refrigerator in the little tube was horrifying. And we have filters for water. We use Everpure. It's a great giant filter.
But even a filter needs to be cleaned.
But the filters need to be cleaned. The lines need to be cleaned
for so long in so many things.
Because there's plastic too.
No. But I'm saying,
what
the issue is that the plastics are the problem with the bacteria.
Then copper.
Correct.
So now we've got plastic lines and.
Well, think about it. When you spoke about before, different washer dryers, all these products that we have that all of a sudden just break. Years ago, products lasted longer. They were made with better materials. They weren't made with cheap plastics, with these cheap materials that breaks.
So that it breaks exactly when you've had it for 3 years and you've got to go
your
replace
iPhone
it.
every year.
Every year. What is that? All of a sudden you have a phone and it just goes blank. Oh,
it should spontaneously combust.
Well,
I wanted to at least put on your radar. There is a little bit of hope, with regards to plastic, and Jen touched on it, but there are some plastic eating bacteria out there and they are developing these specific bacteria to attack that problem. And the polyurethane PET is like a typical type of plastic that is our water bottles. It's like what you think of.
It's when you get the recycling number and it has like a number on it. There's all different categories of it, right? So it's like a 1 or a 2 or a 7.
So basically there is, if I can say it, it's a bacterium called Ideonella saccharinosus.
Something like fun.
Saccharinosus, yes. And
she said sac.
T as both carbon and energy source. So it thrives when it gets on it and it wants to eat it and consume it. So this is a good advancement. However, it's slow. It takes time. It's not something that happens really quickly, but at least this is one of the first times that they found something that actually likes plastic, attaches to it, and can demolish it in time. So,
sounds like a sci-fi movie, like Slime.
And there was one specifically that I'm going to put on our YouTube channel.
Perfect.
Because I want you guys to see the sci-fi picture of the plastic being eaten. But it's genetic engineering, and there's lots of people that have been doing it in multiple directions.
Or genetic engineering, I'm suspect of that, just like the vax. What?
Oh boy, that's going to be an episode.
Nope.
Once you feel like you can touch it, because it's
you guys don't want
to home.
You don't want to know what I have to say about it.
But we do. That's gritty.
No, but but what's sad is that you have these nanoplastics that we keep talking about, and the PET and the bottles. But when the nanoplastics get triggered, they act as endocrine disruptors, interfering with hormones like estrogen, cortisol.
Great.
And they've been found in human tissues, affecting bloodstream, placenta, and it raises concern about the long-lasting effects. So the next time you go grab a warm bottle of water, just think about it and go for a Stanley, or go for a knockoff Stanley, or something that's stainless steel that you can clean, and just be forward thinking about when you go to grab something to drink, like a Gatorade.
There's boxed water. There's canned
the boxed
water. There's a lot of options besides just, the quick fix on a plastic bottle of water.
Well, think
and
about
one
glass
horrifying thing
packaging.
that they said is that every human at this point in their life has one plastic spoon worth of nanoplastics in their system. One plastic spoon. So you imagine a plastic spoon. It resides in all of us.
Wow.
And what that's doing to disrupt many of your cellular levels, we won't know for decades. And hopefully by that time we'll have kind of mitigated out of this risk of this plastic problem with engineering and recycling. But what really needs to happen is we need to shut the tap off of the plastics coming into the system. So dealing with the plastic waste is a big enough problem.
Cisco, we're coming for you.
Hate Cisco.
Reducing. That's what really needs to happen. And I know that there's some of the developing countries, like Indonesia was one of them, and they're trying to get in collaboration with the EU and Australia, where they are really trying to pressure some of these 10 large companies that own everything on the planet to go back to bottled single, or Coca-Cola that used to come.
But it's easy.
But they don't have to deal with, here's the issue, is that I produce something, I don't have to deal with the waste, and then I make the consumer feel bad, and I make this consumer unhealthy. We need to hold these large corporations accountable for the fact that they don't have to deal with the crises that they are creating. Right. Instead of putting off to the consumer, well, you should recycle more and you should change your habits, when you've made it so damn easy to have a place like Bali be polluted. Well, Bali, and they cannot handle it from an infrastructure standpoint.
I was in El Salvador and Costa Rica and Nicaragua, and in El Salvador, and it rained for 2 days. And all of a sudden, you saw a mudslide of all these plastic containers coming down, and it went right to the river mouth of the place where we were about to surf. And said, I'm not going anywhere near there for 2 days. We went to another much further away because the runoff collects all the plastics. And I saw it firsthand. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a mountain. They have no recycling. They have no idea what to do with all this plastic. Sad, because it is so toxic.
All these factories that are producing plastics, fossil fuels are being used and put into the air. Whether people believe in global warming or they don't, this is a reason that we have a climate change happening. And there is violent weather everywhere you look. And there's a lot of different theories. You can't escape from the fact that production of plastics and chemicals being put into our air is attributing to.
The problem is that we need it. Everything's in plastic right now, and we'll make a difference.
And we need oil and gas.
We need it all. So,
but what we do need to recognize, and what hopefully you take away from this episode, is that we are one system, and what we do here in our own homes affects everybody else on the planet. So start with yourself. Start with being aware of the problem. Maybe try and reduce your single-use plastics at home. Try and get educated on other things that you can do to reduce your impact on our environment when it comes to plastic.
Start off by having a party and then talking about it at the party and saying, hey guys, I hope you notice that we're not using any type of plastic here today. We're trying to make a difference. Pass it forward.
Hey, let me tell you something. The BYOC cup party was a hit. Most of the people come to me.
I brought a really big one.
Everyone was excited about which cup they were bringing. We have to bring our cups back, girls. We have our amazing Girls Gone Gritty cups that have left our set. We've forgotten about them. I think we need to have a cocktail again. So we want to thank you for raising your awareness on our plastic problem and listening to us. And be mindful the next time you take a vacation, and try and not use those single-use plastics, and understand that what you do on a daily basis makes an effort, and that your words matter and your actions matter, and communities are all that matters. And we thank you for being a part of our community. And from there, we are going to go to our amazing Got Grit winner of the week.
So our Got Grit winner of the week comes after a wake of just hideousness in Texas, unfortunately. I mean, the flood situation, the aftermath that they're still dealing with, our hearts go out to everybody that has friends and families that have been affected. But there was one camp counselor at Mystic Camp, and her name was Ainsley Bushana, a 19-year-old counselor that was able to kind of leave Mystic and go out for the night and come back at midnight, after all of her cabin had been asleep. And she recognized that the water table, something was going on and that it was climbing. And she started thinking, this is a problem. Something is really, she thought outside the box for a 19-year-old that just went out and socially enjoyed herself off the clock for a little bit. She saved 16 campers by having the wherewithal of thinking about writing each person's name in a Sharpie marker on their arm so that in case they were swept away or, God forbid, something happened to them, they could be identified. And she basically carried each one to safety to higher ground just in the nick of time before the water, which rose 26 inches in 45 minutes, became a massive problem in the dark of the night. So we would like to say, Ainsley, the initiative that you took, being proactive, recognizing that there was a really life or death situation emerging and not thinking twice about it, but being proactive. Hopefully there's more people out there like you. You did something incredible. You're responsible for saving a lot of lives, and we are in awe of all that you've done.
There were several other counselors who got their little campers into safety, and I just hear about it. It like makes me tear up. It just makes you so sad. And these girls who got their campers out and got them to safety, they had them grab their favorite comfort item. And they would sing songs and said prayers and they did games
to
and
diffuse the insanity and the seriousness of what was happening, because these are little people.
Yeah.
And all these parents sent their kids to camp, which is supposed to be a safe place and a magical memory making situation. And Ainsley, not only did she take people to safety, but she really comforted them and allowed them to not, I'm sure they're scarred. Don't get me wrong. And I'm sure what they witnessed was just insanity, but she kept them all in a place that a mama bear would do.
And they were walking in bare feet and cut, and it was muddy and scary. And the whole thing is horrific. And our hearts and prayers and love go out to all the families and friends and people that were affected, and anyone else who were heroes that day. We applaud you.
A lot of heroes, even animals, even dogs. So I've seen a lot of video, as we all have. So, wow, that leads powerful. Us to an unbelievable song, hopefully, that is going to cleanse us from this story and give us hope and tell us what you got, Dee.
Wow. It was a good segue, because this song, the title, it just makes you smile. Keep on smiling through the rain, laughing at the pain, just flowing with the changes. Keep on singing this refrain. You're just hanging out in a local bar and you're wondering who the hell you are. Are you a farmer? Are you a star? Smiling on through the rain, laugh all through the pain, flow on with the changes till the sun comes out again. You got to keep on smiling, laughing, keep on flowing, keep smiling, and you got to laugh a lot. It's the song is Keep Smiling.
Stop it. It is. There's a lot of flowing and wow.
Yeah. And it's by Wet Willie. Keep on smiling. And it's
whoa.
It's just such a fun song.
Do you want me to give you a Wet Willie? Is that going to make you smile?
But it's really like, you got to keep on smiling through the rain, laughing at the pain, just flowing with the changes till the sun comes out again. It's just got to keep on smiling.
Well, that's the thing that's so hard about a situation like this is life goes on the very next day. And the sun comes up again and life continues.
And thank God for that, because this is the resilience that we need as human beings. And this is the community that we need as people that are on the earth for only a short while. So I think it's amazing that in the worst times of human, the best of us come out. So we hope that we found a little bit of the best in you. We hope that we've inspired you to do what you need to every day for yourself, for the family, for the people you love. And we appreciate and love you and thank you and hope that you will continue to tune in.
Plastic free, plastic free, plastic free.
No plastics.